Hey YouTube, it's been about 2 months since my last update, so I'm going to try to catch everybody up on everything that's been going on. A lot has changed, but I hope that some of you have stayed with me through this journey, and hopefully it will lead us somewhere where we can all celebrate together. But here's what's going on right now. So I watched my last video, and I'm currently on 2 cycles after that. So I'm technically on cycle day 5 or 6, something like that, not the next cycle after that video, but a cycle after that. So let's start with the infertility updates. I went and seen the new specialist, and he refused to do IVF with me. He thinks that I have an underlying issue, that it might be hormonal, or it might be something else causing me to not get pregnant, and he doesn't think that IVF is the right way to go right now. He says, since I'm ovulating and I have great progesterone numbers and I'm young, that I'm assuming he's trying to think about money, but money's not an issue for us, and I think that's what pisses me off the most about it is he's trying to okay, well, let's not do that because that's the expensive option. And I understand from what he said is he wants to treat the cause, even though he knows all I want is to get pregnant. But here's the thing is that's all I want is to get pregnant. And I get it. He's like, okay, well, let's figure out what's going on with you. Well, that's great. I'm happy that you want to solve the issue, but I just want to get pregnant, so... But he basically, we've been waiting on my medical records for 2 months because the Washington University Infertility Clinic, they're all assholes. And I called them 3 times. I faxed over multiple medical releases. They keep telling me I sent it to the wrong fax number, so I call back. They give me a different number. I had my new clinic fax over. They faxed a total of 10 times to 5 different numbers that they gave us. They keep sending them back saying that they don't have any record of me. So finally I paid for my medical records. And I'm going to send them myself because it's been 2 months and he refuses to do anything until he receives my medical records to see what I've been tested for. So they've been kind of fucking me around, and sorry for my language, but it's really been pissing me off. So I've been hanging tight and basically just letting my periods go and seeing what happens, which... This is my first not medicated cycle because I still had a dose of letrozole last cycle, so I did ovulate and I did not end up getting pregnant. So this will be my first cycle in 6 months unmedicated, and I probably won't ovulate, and it'll probably go as long as I let it until I induce it. So that's about all I have to say on my infertility treatments. We're kind of just waiting, honestly, just waiting to see what happens. So the fertility and getting pregnant is kind of on the back burner right now. And here's why. With my heart condition, I don't know any more than I did last video, but it is really messing with my anxiety. Basically, I went to the cardiologist again yesterday, and I need something because I can't just go off of, oh, well, maybe you have this diagnosis. Well, maybe you don't. We don't know. And it is a serious, rare heart condition that causes the polarization between beats to become too long that can cause the heart to stop beating. And that scares the shit out of me. Okay, because I have been struggling since I was 10 years old. I've been in therapy for 13 years. And I'm not lying. I've been in therapy for 13 years. And it's crazy because that's the only thing that helps me is talking to somebody. So my anxiety is through the roof, and I am a severe hypochondriac. So I don't take pills, which is why I'm not on anti-anxiety medication. It took me a very long time to work my way up to take the letrozole for my infertility, but I wanted a child more than I was scared of the side effects. So I I took it and everything worked out, so I have no regrets. But it is very hard to convince me to take a new medication. I take Advil, and that's the only pain reliever I will take, and I'll only take it if I am to the point of a migraine causing me to bawl my eyes out. So, basically, my cardiologist has kind of thrown me up in the air. When I first came in for my very first appointment, she had told me, okay, your echocardiogram, which is an ultrasound of the heart, looks great. You have PVCs, which are frequent beats when I exercise. And she said that they're benign. They're actually very common, and it's nothing to worry about. And that everything else looks great. My blood pressure's great. The structure of my heart is great. My heart's beating as it should be. Everything was peachy. So as I'm sitting down, and she shakes my hand. We're getting ready to leave, okay? I'm sitting there. She looks at me, and she goes, oh, by the way, I forgot. You do have a slight prolonged QT. She said, so it's nothing to worry about, but you should look it up. It's pretty interesting. So, I'm a hypochondriac. I'm going to Google it anyway. And I'm like, okay, no big deal. So this is a Thursday appointment. Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. And I still haven't looked it up because she was so casual about it. I didn't think anything of it. I never had a follow-up appointment, no test, no medication, nothing. That was it. So I Google it, which you shouldn't do, especially if you're a hypochondriac. Just don't do it. It's a bad thing to do. So I Google it, and I only go off of Mayo Clinic or drugs.com, or I'm very careful with where I get my information from. So I Google it and I go to Mayo Clinic, and there are 2 symptoms of prolonged QT. 1 is fainting. 2 is sudden death. That's it, right? So automatically I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Why do I have this? Like, I'm so confused. So I'm like looking up my medical records and stuff, and like she actually diagnosed me with prolonged QT. And I'm like, why wasn't I more informed about this? I could die at any moment. Can you please let me know? And to this day, that's still what she says. But that's how I was diagnosed with this. That's like diagnosing someone. That is literally what she did, is diagnose me with a serious, rare condition that I will have for the rest of my life by telling me to Google it. So I'm like a wreck. I demand more testing to be done, which she never wanted. So I had a stress test. It showed frequent beats. During the stress test. I had multiple EKGs done. They all came back normal. I've had an MRI of my heart, which was absolutely terrible. It took 2 hours, and I had a panic attack the whole time. And that came back a couple days ago, and that was 100% normal. I have no family history of heart disease, fainting, sudden death, any kind of issues. I have 0 family history on both sides of anything. Which is not common with this issue. So I'm like, okay. So basically that was it. She was just like, okay, great. I was like, well, how do I know for sure if I have this? And she's like, well, genetic testing. So I go to Mayo Clinic December 5th and 6th to see Dr. Ackerman in Rochester, Minnesota. And he is world renowned for prolonged QT syndrome. That is all he does. He lives and breathes it. He does the convention every year. That is what he does. And that's who I'm seeing for genetic testing. He's going to look at it, and he's going to be the one to tell me what's going on. So from what I've learned about this, if you're curious, is prolonged QT is very hard to diagnose unless you, A, have a family history of sudden death, and they've figured out that's why they died, is because of sudden heart failure. You have a family history of heart issues, or you have a history of passing out. So I have none of that. So I'm like, okay, well, why was I diagnosed? Well, my phone is ringing, so I'm going to reject the call. My phone, it didn't stop recording because I got a phone call. I'm very surprised. Maybe I should, no, we'll leave it. Okay, anyway, I'm so scared I'm going to lose this video. Let's see if I can turn it on airplane mode and not lose this video. Oh, okay, I did. Awesome. Okay, so anyway, where was I? I don't even remember. So basically, I'm trying to think of where I was. Sorry, guys. Here, let me pause and think. Okay, I was talking about Dr. Ackerman. That's correct. So he will be the guy to tell me what's going on. And until then, the only way to diagnose me was through an EKG. I had one EKG done. Basically what was happening was I was having chest pains, which we will get to that in a second. So just hang on tight, guys. I was having chest pains, and I thought it was my heart. I was very scared, so I went to the ER. They did EKGs, a whole bunch of other stuff. That's when they figured out I had PVCs, frequent beats. So I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. So they sent me to a cardiologist. Well, I went to the ER 3 times in that week for chest pain because I was so scared. And when I was in there, I get very nervous around people. I have very bad social anxiety. And it has been known and has been documented that when I get around people, my heart rate goes up to 90 beats per minute and my blood pressure goes to 180 over 70. So being around people really scares the shit out of me. So during one of those times, they had recorded my EKG and I had a prolonged QT. And she did not tell me by how many microseconds. And that's how they measure it. It's like they put it in levels. Like low risk, medium risk, dangerous, cardiac, like arrest. Like they put them in levels. And she didn't tell me. All she told me was I was very slightly prolonged on one EKG. But the thing is sometimes that's all people ever see. Sometimes it's very hard to be diagnosed with this. There are lots of people who are living with it, who are just living with it for like ever. Like they live a full healthy life and they never figure out they have it. And then unfortunately there are people who the parents have it and their child at my age, normally it's in your 20s. I know a lot of women who are just now learning about it on one of my support groups because they have a 23, 24, 25-year-old, sometimes even as young as 16, suddenly die for no reason, and they figure out that this is what it was. And that they carry the genetic trait, which scares the piss out of me because that means that I could be the one, and I'm very unlucky. So I could be the one. I could be the one person to die suddenly, and then they're like, oh, well, that's what it is. Well, my cardiologist isn't very concerned about it. She never has been from the start when she diagnosed me. I'm the one who have pressed for all of this testing. And she finally told me that I could take the beta blocker that I had talked to you guys about last video. And as you know, I've refused high doses. And today I went back, and my appointment isn't until December. And here's the thing, is if I take these beta blockers, they're going to drop my blood pressure, which my resting heart rate is about 65, 70 beats per minute, which is normal. And my blood pressure is normally normal too. It's about 115 over, I don't know, whatever it is. It's normal. So I'm scared that it's going to drop my blood pressure and my heart rate to the point of where I do pass out. Or it's going to make me so disoriented and dizzy that I'm going to have a fucking panic attack. And then that beta blocker is going to prevent my brain from my heart beating, and I'm going to freak out because here I am mentally freaking out and my heart isn't racing, and I'm going to like lose my shit. That's basically what's going on. It's what I'm going to freak out about. So my appointment that I had yesterday with her, I brought my mom, and she was not very happy that she had to re-explain everything to my mother. But here's the thing, is that if I have it, my mom has it. And my mom is worse than me, and that's just something she needs to hear too, because she didn't believe me that I was actually diagnosed with this. And she's like, well, I can't diagnose her, it's not an official diagnosis, we can't know, genetic testing's only 80% accurate, she's like, I don't think she has it, but blah 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 blah. So she prescribed me 20 milligrams of propranolol twice a day, and here I have it. Nope, not that one. Okay. Here I have it. I had my address. I'm not really scared of anybody. Actually, that's the wrong address, so I don't give a crap. So anyway, so propranolol, 20 milligrams, she says take 1 tablet by mouth twice daily. That's not going to happen. I can tell you that right now. If anything, here's my plan. I'm going to take 10 milligrams twice a day. And here's the reason why. She said I have 3 reasons to take propranolol. For anxiety, because 10 milligrams is prescribed very often for people with anxiety when no other medications work, and no other medications have ever worked for my anxiety. 2, for my PVCs. It will prevent my heart from doing PVCs, which people take them for PVCs, even though they're not dangerous. They take them because they're annoying. And sometimes they are frightening because, you know, you're exercising, then your heart's beating way faster than it should, and you're like, oh my God, what's going on? And I've had that happen before. So a lot of people take this just to prevent the PVCs. And the other reason is the potential diagnosis of a prolonged QT. And I've asked her, if I don't have it, is it going to cause any issues? She said no. Side effects are dizziness. Common side effects are dizziness and I don't even remember what the other one was. Oh, fatigue, being tired, because it can drop your blood pressure and it can drop your pulse, which if it drops too low, then I'm supposed to call her, I guess, or I could pass out, so I don't really know what's going to happen. So for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be staying with my mom because my husband works, and I don't work anymore. So fun update, they fired me, guys. I got fired, and let me explain why. So while I was in the middle of being diagnosed with this, my chest pain, she said it might have been pleurisy, so I went and seen my primary. My primary referred me to a gastrologist. My gastrologist did a HIDA scan on my gallbladder. It is my gallbladder. My gallbladder doesn't fucking work at all. So the pain that I feel is cardiac pain is my gallbladder not working. They want to take it out. I said no. So they prescribed me omeprazole, 40 milligrams, and I've been taking that, and it's awesome. I don't feel any pain, so knock on wood. They said as long as the pain isn't too intense, I don't need to take it out, but I probably will have to have it taken out sometime in my life. So in the process of this happening, when I was at work, how we do our work system is we have to go into the computer. It's kind of like Walmart, if anybody's ever worked for Walmart. You go in there and you ask off for days through the computer system. You can ask any days off, and you can select if you want to use ETO, if it's unpaid, and then you put your reason down, the time, everything. You fill out a form online, you submit it, it goes to your supervisor. Your supervisor then reviews it and then approves it. So for all these doctor's appointments, for my gallbladder, I had to speak to a general surgeon, I had to have a HIDA scan, I had to have a abdominal ultrasound, then I had to see my fertility specialist, and then it was like once I got hired, everything hit me at once. Like, I was peachy. You guys remember me. I was fine before this. I was just going to the fertility doctor like once every couple months, and I was pretty much doing nothing with my time. So I start this doctor's appointment, and I'm sitting here seeing 5 different doctors. I had like 30 appointments in 1 month. And I tried to schedule them as early as late as possible, but with me working 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, everybody was closed. So I spoke with my supervisor 4 or 5 times, and she was very understanding. She was like, I understand, it happens to all of us. She's like, I'm not going to hold this against you. This is not a big deal. I understand this is something you have to do. She basically told me it was no big deal, and I was like, well, I don't want to lose my job. I feel really guilty about it. I was like, if it's a problem, let me know, and I will try to work something out. But she had insisted, it's okay. She's multiple times, I'm not going to hold this against you. It's not a big deal, So I'm like, okay. You know what she even said? She goes, well, we can drop you down to part-time, or maybe you can take a week off if you need to. I know this is very overwhelming for you. She was so sweet and understanding, so I was not worried at all. So after I went to the cardiologist one of the last times, she had told me that, I had the doctor, my cardiologist is a girl, she had told me that basically that was when she officially was like, I have to put the diagnosis as a prolonged QT, even though she wasn't sure. So that scared me. So I went back to work because I would leave for 10 minutes, which I work for the hospital, so my doctor was the walking distance from my office. I would leave for 10 minutes and come back. And I was upset. I was crying. She's like, okay, that's fine. They take 30 minutes. Take a break. So I took a break. I came back and I was like, hey, is there any way that I can, have a couple days off to kind of handle what I'm going through and come back? I told her I didn't feel like I was giving 100%. I felt really guilty for my other workers. And she's like, well, we'll talk about it tomorrow. Just go home for today. Everything's okay. Like, as I said, she never once, like, we have a point system to where you get, like, written notices, like, written up for, like, missing too many days. I was never written up. I was never anything. So I come in, she calls me at like 9 o'clock that night. Says, hey, can you come in tomorrow morning at like 7 to my office? I'm like, okay. So I come in, she sits me down, she goes, hey, I'm going to have to let you go. And I start bawling. I'm like, why? She's like, well, you've missed too many days. I'm like, I asked you for those days off. You said they were okay. If you would have said, hey, sorry, you're missing too many days, I wouldn't have went to the fucking appointments. Like, are you kidding me? And then she's like, well, when you figure all this out, how about you just get back a hold of me in like January or February of next year, and maybe we can rehire you and you'll start back over and have to go through orientation and everything. I'm like, bitch, fuck you. I'm not doing that. Like, that was an insult to my intelligence and an insult to me as a person. Like, I have a serious medical condition. I asked you, and you, like, is just bullshit. Anyway, so I lost my job over my heart condition, which is peachy, isn't it? So basically, that's what's been going on in my life, guys. I'm sorry. I told you, I knew this was going to be a long video. This is 2 months of information for you guys in one video. But I'm a wreck. I'm depressed. We moved into a new house because I lost my job, and we needed something cheaper, and my husband let me paint it, which is probably not a very good idea. But I'll show you my kitchen. It's like ombre. My bathroom is like a blue ombre too. So I've been trying to keep myself busy. So basically, the reason that I really wanted to make this video was because I'm going to be taking the propranolol today, and I'm scared. I don't have anybody to talk to about it, so I'm scared. And I have this blood pressure monitor. I'm supposed to monitor my blood pressure while I'm on it and my pulse. And this actually detects irregular beats. And last night I was feeling very anxious, so I took it, and it actually detected an irregular heartbeat. So that was interesting. But basically, I'm going to take that, and I'm going to go over to my mom's, and I'm going to take my first 10 milligram pill of propranolol. And I'm going to probably have the world's worst panic attack. Yeah, I'm going to have the world's worst panic attack. I already know it because when I took omeprazole, which is, you know what omeprazole is, it's Prilosec. Prilosec OTC. It's not OTC, but it's prescribed. But it is the same shit as Prilosec OTC. You know, Larry the Cable Guy. That's what it is. Like, it's such a common medication. And I had such a panic attack when I first had it, I had to lay down. I was hyperventilating. I overthink every medication I've ever taken because I'm so scared of putting something unnatural in my body. And I don't do it unless I absolutely have to. Like with my gallbladder, they're like, okay, well, you can either remove it or take this medication. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll take the medication. And so with this, it's basically what they call insurance. There's a very good possibility I won't have a sudden cardiac event. There's a good possibility that I'll be okay. But there's also a possibility that I won't. And in my head, would I rather have a panic attack and be a little dizzy from time to time, or would I rather have a heart attack and die? And that sounds so extreme, but that's how my mind sees it, and that's how I feel. And I'm like, well, I would probably rather take the medication. So after her putting me on what she calls a baby dose of 10 milligrams twice a day, which is the dose that's prescribed for anxiety when people have anxiety, I was like, well, I'll take it. 10 milligrams twice a day. So I'm going to take 10 milligrams probably at 11 o'clock because I get up really, really late because I'm depressed. I'm going to take it, and we're going to see what happens. I'm going to go over to my mom's, and she's going to have to keep me calm because I'm going to lose my shit. Is it raining? Oh, shit. Well, I guess I'm not going to my mom's because my mom lives like 1 block that way, and I don't have a vehicle, so son of a bitch. That sucks. So I don't know what I'm doing now. I guess I'll have her come get me. I hope my husband didn't take his motorcycle today because that's gonna blow. Anyway, So that's what's gonna happen, guys. I'm gonna freak out, and I really don't want to take this medication, but I have to. I have to take it. I don't have a choice. I mean, I don't have a choice at this point. I don't want to take this medicine, so I'm gonna go take it. I've actually contemplated taking it on camera, just because I feel like because I'm gonna post this online, I won't act as crazy. But I'm gonna go take it at my mom's, and she's gonna have to calm me down because I'm going to lose my shit. As I said, I'm gonna like hyperventilate. I'm gonna think that I'm gonna die. I'm gonna think that it's fucking with my head. I'm gonna have like, it's not gonna be a very pretty situation. I can tell you that right now. So I guess that's it. That's my update. So interestingly enough, I have stopped fertility treatments. My gallbladder needs to be removed. I have a heart condition that requires me on beta blockers. I'm going to Mayo Clinic in December, and I lost my job, and I moved into a new house. So there's you guys' update. That's about all I have for you guys. I know it was a 30-minute long video, and I know nobody wants to listen to me ramble for that long. So I'm so sorry about that. But there's my update. That's what's going on in my life right now. It's been very hectic. I've been very stressed out. I have headaches every single day. And I miss 4 months ago. So bad. I miss making these videos for you guys, and even though I was upset in some of them, I miss that being my only problem. It's so crazy how your life can change in just a matter of days. I remember the day before I had this, I went to the zoo with my sister and my husband. We went to the Evansville, Indiana Zoo, and I remember, I just remember that day. We were just so happy. I remember seeing like the gigantic lizard, and I remember just sitting there staring at it, and I could get it to come to me by I would just stare at it, and it would walk up to me, and I just remember that day. I remember everything about that day, and I never knew that the next day I'd go to the hospital for a heart problem, and my life would change forever. I will forever have to watch myself. I can't take Benadryl. I have a whole list of medication I can't take because of this heart condition. When I have a baby, if I have a baby, I have to have a C-section because having the baby puts too much stress on the heart. So that's already ruled and determined for me. If I have this, I have to have someone with me for a year, every day for a year after I have the baby, because for some reason the risk of cardiac events go up, I think, by 50% after you have a baby. I don't know why, but I guess the pregnancy is fine, but after, a lot of people have heart attacks who have this. So there's that. My life has changed forever, and that's the worst part about this right now, is that all I get is a maybe. Maybe I have it. And that's not good enough for me, because this is something that's going to change my life. That either I don't have it so I can stop worrying about it and get my life on the road, or I do have it and I have to learn how to live differently. I need to accept this and move on. And right now I keep bouncing back from, okay, I have it, it's okay, I have it, let's learn to live like this. And then I go, well, maybe I don't have it. Well, maybe I can do whatever I want. And that's the thing. My life has changed forever. I don't even remember. I wish I would have known that I was going to stop drinking caffeine. I would have had a cherry Coke for the last time. I don't even remember that. I don't even remember the last time I did. Because when I went to the ER, they told me I couldn't have it. I haven't had caffeine in 4 months now. My life has changed forever, and I thought that I had it hard because I couldn't have a baby, and I was so upset over it, and now I would take that issue over what I have any day of the week. So just never, and it could be worse, and that's what I try to focus on, is remember that feeling, because it could be so much worse, and I could be looking back on this one day and be like, man, I wish that was my only issue. So you never know. You think that your problems are bad now, but they could get worse, and I'm not trying to be pessimistic, but there are people who have them worse. There are people I know with this, that on my support group, that pass out 5 or 6 times a day. and beta blockers don't work. There are 10-year-olds who have to have ICD implants or pacemakers. There are babies who are born with this, and that's another thing, is I have a 50% chance of passing this on to my kid. That my baby might have to, 2 days old, have to have a pacemaker put in. Like, this could change my life, and all I got is a maybe I have it, maybe I don't right now. So I'm kind of living in a gray zone. I'm stressed out, very anxious, and I'm home alone by myself all day. So, hold on. My dog is like running around the chair in circles for God knows why. So I guess I'm not alone. I have them, and I'm thankful for them every day. So that's my update. I know it was super long. I'm sorry, guys. What did we do? My oldest dog likes to get in the bathtub, and it's covered in paint because I've been painting. So I'm not even lying to you guys. Look. Are you in the bathtub? Zeus, are you in the bathtub? What are you doing in the bathtub? Get out of the bathtub. Get out. Come on. Get out. Let's go. Come on. Oh, well, now you guys can see my bathroom. So that's all I have for you guys. I'm going to get to taking this fucking medicine that I'm trying not to take. So that's basically all I have. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it so much, those of you who are still with me. It's going to be a long journey, and I have no idea what's going to happen next month, next week, tomorrow. I have no idea. But thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it so much, and I'm just thankful that I still have people out there listening to me talk and blabber about absolutely nothing for 30 minutes. And those of you who are rooting for me and staying strong for me and telling me that I can keep going, thank you so much, because it means the world to me that I have people out there who believe in me and who believe that I can still do it. And all I keep telling myself is I'm tough. I've been through a lot, and if anything, that just proves that I can get through a lot more. So here's to staying strong, guys. I'll keep you updated. I'll try to keep you updated if anything changes. Maybe I'll try to give you guys another update next week, even if nothing's going on, just to kind of check in with everybody. So thanks for watching, and thank for me, because I'm going to be taking this medicine in about an hour, and I'm absolutely terrified. So just keep me in your thoughts, guys, because I'm really scared, but I'm going to try to do it for future family and for myself. So thanks, guys.